If you want your future to be different, better, stronger, richer, then you've got to do one thing: change your philosophy. Because your future is not shaped by luck or by other people. It's shaped by what you choose to believe, to do, and to become. Now I want to share with you 5 important rules that can absolutely change the course of your future. These are not complicated. They don't require genius, but they do require attention, consistency, and courage. Rule #1. Take full responsibility. Your life is not about what happens to you. It's about what you do with what happens. You can't control the weather, the economy, or other people, but you can control your reaction. Own your choices. That's where power begins. Rule #2. Learn daily. Your income will rarely exceed your level of personal development. If you want more, you must become more. Read books, listen to mentors, learn from every experience, good or bad. Don't wish for life to be easier. Wish to be better. Rule #3. Discipline is the bridge. Success is not built on motivation. It's built on discipline. It's the ability to do what you should do, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline turns average days into remarkable futures. Rule #4. Guard your associations. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you want to grow, walk with people who challenge you, sharpen you, inspire you. Don't let negative minds design your destiny. Rule #5. Set clear goals. A man without goals is like a ship without a rudder, drifting, lost, dependent on the current. Set goals so clear that they pull you forward when motivation fades. Goals give direction, and direction creates destiny. Change doesn't come overnight, but it starts the moment you decide to live by new rules. Simple rules, but powerful. Because if you live them, they'll lead you to a future you'll be proud to call your own. Your future is shaped by your philosophy, not your circumstances. It's not what happens to you that defines your destiny. It's how you choose to think about what happens to you. You can't always control the events around you, but you can absolutely control how you interpret them, what you believe about them, and what you decide to do next. 2 people can go through the same struggle. One comes out broken, the other comes out stronger. What made the difference? Their philosophy, their mindset, their way of thinking. Your philosophy is the lens through which you view life. It determines how you react to failure, how you handle success, how you view challenges, opportunities, people, and even yourself. If your philosophy says a life is unfair, you'll stay stuck, you'll make excuses, you'll wait for luck or for someone to save you. But if your philosophy says, I am responsible, I create my own future, then you'll rise, you'll adapt, you'll take action even when it's hard. Your philosophy is not something you're born with. It's something you build. Brick by brick, idea by idea, habit by habit. You build it through the books you read, through the people you learn from, through the questions you ask, through the standards you set. Well, the standards you set. The truth is, most people spend their lives reacting to their circumstances. But the few who shape their future are the ones who start by shaping their beliefs. They choose a new way of thinking, and that new thinking unlocks a new life. So when you're tempted to blame your circumstances, pause. And ask yourself, what's the philosophy behind my response? Because your future won't change by accident. It will change by design, and the design starts in your mind. Taking full responsibility gives you the power to change, not partial responsibility, not shared responsibility, but full responsibility. When you own your life completely, something powerful happens. You stop waiting. You stop blaming. You stop giving your power away to other people, to the past, or to the circumstances you were born into. Because as long as you blame others, you hand them the keys to your future. You stay stuck in a story that says, me can't move forward until someone else fixes this. But when you take full responsibility, you take those keys back. You begin to realize that your life is not a product of what happens to you. It's a product of what you do about what happens. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow, and every excuse disappears the moment you decide to own the outcome. It's not about blaming yourself. It's about empowering yourself. It's about saying, this is my life, and I refuse to live it at the mercy of anything I can choose to rise above. Responsibility is not a burden. It's your greatest weapon. It gives you control. It gives you options. It gives you the ability to rewrite your story starting right now. No one can take that from you unless you give it away. And every time you say, it's not my fault, you're giving it away. You're giving away your strength, your clarity, your drive. But the moment you say, no matter what happened before, I'm in charge now, that's the moment you begin to change everything. Your mindset, your habits, your results. Because responsibility leads to action, and action leads to transformation. And transformation leads to a future that looks nothing like your past. Personal growth determines your level of success. It's not your job title, your background, or your connections that decide your future. It's how much you've grown. It's the skills you build, the knowledge you gain, the character you develop. The truth is, your success will never rise higher than your personal development. If you want more, you must become more. If you want greater results, you must become a greater version of yourself. Because the outer world reflects the inner world. What you build on the inside eventually shows up on the outside. Success doesn't come by accident. It comes through intention, through daily habits, through small, quiet decisions to invest in yourself when nobody's watching. Every book you read adds something to you. Every lesson you learn sharpens your vision. Every discipline you keep strengthens your confidence. And every challenge you face, if you choose to grow from it, adds another layer to your success foundation. There's no shortcut to becoming the person success is looking for. You have to earn it. By growing, by stretching, by refusing to stay the same when you know you can rise higher. Some people chase opportunities hoping to get lucky, but the ones who grow create their own opportunities. They don't wait to be discovered. They prepare in silence until their value becomes undeniable. If you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune, not just in money, but in strength, in peace, in fulfillment. So don't just chase goals, chase growth. Because when you grow, you automatically start reaching goals that once seemed far out of reach. Not because the world changed, but because you did. And when you become someone who is always growing, you become someone who is always moving forward. And forward is the only direction success knows. Daily learning compounds into long-term value. It doesn't always feel like much. Reading a few pages, listening to a podcast, writing down a lesson. But over time, those small daily deposits turn into something powerful. Because learning is like compound interest. It grows slowly, quietly, invisibly, until suddenly it shows in how you think, in how you speak, in how you handle problems that used to overwhelm you. You don't need to master everything today. You just need to get a little better every day. One insight, one idea, one perspective shift at a time. The world is constantly changing. If you're not learning, you're falling behind. But if you're learning daily, you're gaining a quiet advantage. One most people don't even notice until it's too late. The person who learns consistently has a sharper mind, more confidence, better decisions because they've prepared, they've studied, they've grown when others stood still. Knowledge is power, but only when applied. And when you learn daily, you build a library inside yourself. When you can draw from at any moment, in any challenge, at any crossroads. The key is consistency, not cramming, not chasing trends, but building real wisdom, little by little, day by day. You don't need hours, you need intention. You need a mindset that says, I'm a student for life. Because when you keep learning, you keep evolving. And when you keep evolving, you become valuable. Valuable to your career, valuable to your team, valuable to your goals, and most importantly, valuable to yourself. The best investment you will ever make is not in stocks, not in real estate, not in anything external. It's in your own mind, your own growth, your own ability to understand, adapt, and lead. Daily learning is quiet work, but it speaks loudly in your results. Discipline outperforms motivation every time. Motivation feels good. It's that spark, that fire, that rush of energy that gets you started. But the truth is, motivation fades. Some days you wake up feeling inspired. Other days, you don't even want to get out of bed. That's where discipline takes over. Discipline is steady. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for the perfect mood. It shows up day in and day out. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. It's keeping your word to yourself. It's following through not just when it's exciting, but when it's boring, hard, or inconvenient. Anyone can work when they feel good. But champions show up when they feel nothing at all. Discipline turns your goals into habits, and those habits create momentum that motivation alone could never build. When you're disciplined, you're dependable. You build trust with yourself. You become someone who doesn't break promises, not even the ones no one else sees. Motivation is like a match. Quick to burn, quick to die. But discipline is like a slow-burning fire. It keeps you warm through the long, cold nights of doubt and distraction. It keeps going when excuses get loud. It keeps moving when no one's clapping for you yet. Success doesn't belong to the most inspired. It belongs to the most consistent. And consistency is built on the back of discipline. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up. That's normal. But if you've built the muscle of discipline, you'll show up anyway. And that's what separates those who succeed from those who quit. You don't need to be motivated every day. You just need to be disciplined enough to act regardless, because the results you want are not waiting at the top of a motivational high. They're waiting on the other side of daily discipline. Consistent effort builds a strong foundation for the future, not random effort. Not effort when it's convenient, but consistent effort. Day after day, week after week, even when no one's watching. That's what builds something lasting. That's what separates wishful thinking from real progress. Success isn't the result of one big moment. It's the result of thousands of small ones. The early mornings, the quiet work, the daily decisions to keep going even when the results aren't visible yet. Every time you put in the work, you're laying a brick. And brick by brick, you build something solid, something you can stand on, something you can trust. Because it's not built on hype, it's built on discipline. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means showing up more than you disappear. It means doing what matters, even if it's not flashy, even if it's not exciting, even if it feels like you're not making much progress at all. But here's the truth. Progress often hides in repetition. You might not see it day by day, but over time, the gap between who you were and who you're becoming starts to show. And that's when you realize it was never about speed. It was about staying in the game. The most successful people aren't always the most talented. They're often just the ones who stayed consistent when others gave up. They built habits that didn't rely on mood. They followed routines when no one else would. They planted seeds every day and trusted that harvest takes time. The future belongs to those who are consistent today, because the effort you put in now becomes the stability you stand on later. It becomes the skills, the confidence, the reputation, the results, all built slowly, all built honestly, all built through effort that never quit just because progress was slow. Keep laying the bricks, keep showing up, because the life you want isn't waiting for one perfect day. It's waiting for the days you kept going when it would have been easier to stop. Your associations influence your habits and mindset. The people you spend time with shape how you think, how you act, and ultimately, who you become. You might not even notice it at first, it's subtle, but over time, their words become your thoughts. Their habits start becoming your habits. Their energy affects your energy. If you're around people who complain constantly, you'll eventually find yourself doing the same. If you surround yourself with people who settle for less, you'll start shrinking your dreams to match theirs. But if you're around people who challenge you to rise, who push you to grow, who inspire you to think bigger and do better, you start leveling up without even realizing it. Your environment is either pulling you forward or holding you back. And one of the most powerful choices you'll ever make is who you allow to influence your daily thinking. You don't need perfect people, but you need people with direction, people who are striving, people who take responsibility, people who hold themselves to higher standards, because being around them raises yours. Greatness is contagious. So is laziness. So is negativity. So is mediocrity. If you want to change your life, sometimes you have to change your circle. Not because you're better than others, but because your future deserves the right environment to grow. Protect your space, guard your mind, and be intentional about who gets access to your time and energy, because every association either waters your potential or drains it. Every conversation either feeds your purpose or distracts you from it. You don't rise alone, and you don't fall alone either. Your circle either builds your character or chips away at it day by day. Choose wisely. Because the people closest to you aren't just part of your life, they're shaping your life. Choose mentors and peers who elevate you. The people you learn from and walk beside will shape your direction, your standards, and your future. You don't need to do life alone. But you do need to be intentional about who you allow to influence your path. Not everyone around you wants to grow. Not everyone around you sees life the way you do, and that's why you must choose wisely. A good mentor doesn't just tell you what you want to hear, they challenge you. They hold you accountable. They speak truth when it's uncomfortable. They've been where you're going, and they offer you a map if you're humble enough to listen. Mentors save you time. They shorten your learning curve. They help you avoid mistakes they've already paid for, and their presence in your life reminds you what's possible. But mentorship isn't just about titles and status. It's about alignment. It's about finding someone whose values match the life you want to build. Someone who doesn't just talk success, but lives it with integrity. And then there are your peers, the ones you walk with daily. Choose peers who want more from life. People who strive, people who grow, people who encourage you to raise your game, not settle for comfort. The right peers will inspire you without even trying. Their discipline will challenge your excuses. Their vision will stretch your own. And their progress will remind you that growth is not just possible, it's necessary. You don't rise in isolation. You rise in community. But only if that community is built to lift, not to lower. Surround yourself with people who see your potential, who won't let you shrink, who won't let you give up, who call you out when you're off track, and who celebrate your wins like their own. The quality of your circle determines the quality of your climb. So choose mentors who light the way. And choose peers who push you forward. Step by step, day by day, goals create focus, purpose, and direction. Without goals, life becomes a series of random movements. You wake up, you work, you react. But nothing feels connected, nothing feels intentional. You move, but you're not moving toward anything. And that's how time gets wasted. That's how years slip by without real progress. But when you set a goal, something clear, something specific, everything begins to shift. Your mind gets focused, your actions become aligned. You stop living by chance and start living by choice. Goals give your energy a target. They tell you where to look, where to go, and what to ignore. You stop chasing distractions and start pursuing something that actually matters. You stop asking, what should I do today? And instead ask, what moves me closer to my goal? It's not just about achievement, it's about meaning. A goal gives you a reason to get up early, to work harder, to stay disciplined when motivation disappears. When you have a goal, every small step has a purpose. Every failure becomes feedback. Every delay becomes a test of how much you truly want it. And that clarity creates confidence. You no longer need to compare yourself to others because you're measuring your progress against your own path. You're not just busy, you're intentional. You're not just moving, you're moving forward. Your goals don't have to be big at first. They just have to be honest. They have to matter to you. Because when they do, they'll light a fire inside you that keeps burning long after the excitement fades. Without goals, even hard work can feel empty. But with goals, every effort builds something. Every choice adds a brick to the future you've chosen to build. So don't drift. Don't wait. Don't hope success finds you. Set a goal. Let it guide you. And watch how focus, purpose, and direction begin to shape your life. Living by clear principles leads to predictable success. Life becomes complicated when your values are unclear. You start making decisions based on emotions, pressure, or convenience, and that path always leads to confusion, inconsistency, and regret. But when you live by clear principles, your path becomes steady. You know what you stand for. You know what you will and won't compromise. You don't get lost in every distraction. You stay aligned, no matter what comes your way. Principles act like a compass. They don't change with the weather. They guide you when things get hard. They make your choices easier because you're not deciding based on the moment. You're deciding based on your foundation. Success isn't just about talent or timing. It's about structure. It's about living by the kind of principles that create consistent action, and consistent action creates consistent results. People who succeed repeatedly aren't just lucky. They live by rules they don't break, even when it's inconvenient. They're honest when it would be easier to lie. They're disciplined when no one is watching. They keep their word not just to others, but to themselves. Those principles build trust. They build reputation. They build inner peace. And over time, they lead to success that is stable, respected, and sustainable. It's easy to win one, but to win again and again, to build a life that lasts, You need principles that never change, even when everything else does. The world rewards clarity. It rewards consistency. And those only come when you live by values you've chosen, not values that are forced on you. Define what matters to you. Decide who you want to be, then live it every single day. Not perfectly, but intentionally. Because when your life is guided by strong principles, your actions become aligned, your decisions become wise, and your success becomes no longer a surprise. It becomes inevitable. So if you're serious about building a future that lasts, start by building it on the right foundation. Not on luck, not on guesswork, but on principles that don't bend with pressure. Because when your life is rooted in clarity, driven by discipline, and guided by values you refuse to compromise, success doesn't just become possible. It becomes predictable. Choose your principles, live by them daily, and watch your life rise, one solid decision at a time.